Yo, what's good? It's the one, the only, but what do I know? Boxing. Back at you with another one, man. So, WBC Middleweight World Championship bout between Jermall Hitman Charlo and Magic Selesky has been postponed, man, due to a back injury from Jermall Charlo. They were supposed to fight, was it July 18th? Supposed to be the weekend of Juneteenth. And the fight has been postponed. The only thing that I'm irritated, well, not irritated, the only thing that I'm mad about is the fight being postponed and just not canceled. Listen, I'm a huge fan of Lions Only. If anybody follows my channel, you know I rock with Jermall and Jamil. Tough, especially Jamil. I rock with Lions Only all day. But this is a fight that I feel like we don't need, bro. I mean, Jermall could possibly, I wouldn't even say he can make a statement. I mean, he would just have bragging rights to say that he knocked out somebody, because I think Selesky, he lost against Demetrius Andrade and Danny Jacobs, I believe. I think it was Danny Jacobs, or Billy Joe. I think it was Demetrius Andrade and Danny Jacobs. So, I mean, yeah, Jermall could have bragging rights. I mean, maybe, but I mean, he wouldn't be saying much. I mean, nobody really thinks highly of Magic Selesky. Now, again, we all know, before you try to just automatically tear Jermall down, we do know that he tried to make a fight with Jaime Munguia, but De La Hoya prevented that fight. They wanted to, Showtime was paying both of them, so Showtime wanted to have it on Showtime, rightfully so. Jermall Charlo is the champion, and the A side, and they wanted it on Showtime. But then Golden Boy wanted to be a joint deal with Showtime and DAZN, and DAZN wasn't putting up no money. So why would I do a joint deal if we putting up all the money? That doesn't make any sense. And that's what caused the fight to break down between Jermall and Jaime Munguia. Now, I don't want to make this video about Jaime Munguia, but I do find it rather funny how people like to just criticize the shit out of Jermall, and nobody's talking about Jaime Munguia and the whack ass fights that he has. But that's for another video. Jermall got it, man. It's time for Jermall. Jermall was the man at 154. He made some noise at 154. He fought J Rock. He fought Austin Trout. He beat some he beat some good guys at 160. Matt Korobov, Sergey Derevchenko. But it's time for Jermall to step it up, man. I think that we are all waiting for Jermall to get that big fight. But and it's overdue. The middleweight division. I mean, they tried to make a fight with Triple G. Triple G's Kay Loeffner, his manager, stated that fight didn't make sense. I don't know how that fight doesn't make sense. Well, I do know, because Triple G only wants Canelo. So Triple G is getting a third fight with Canelo in September. Jaime Munguia, that fight fell apart. Demetrius Andrade, I'm gonna tell y'all something, bro, and this is something that a lot of people don't know. But this is why Demetrius Andrade and Jermall Charlo never fought. By no means are any fighter afraid. Neither one of them are afraid of each other. Demetrius Andrade is not afraid of Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo is not afraid of Demetrius Andrade. However, Al Heyman. So if y'all remember, this is for the real boxing fans. In 2014, Jermall Charlo was scheduled to fight Demetrius Andrade. They had it signed, sealed, and delivered. Right? It was supposed to be on the undercard of Amir Khan versus Devin Alexander. So it was supposed to be December of 2014. Demetrius Andrade, due to no fault of Jermall Charlo and Al Heyman, no fault of them, Demetrius Andrade decides to pull out of the fight because his promotion, he felt like he can get more money from. Right? It had something to do with Rock, because Demetrius Andrade had signed a deal with Rock Nation. All right? He was having issues with his promotional company. He pulls out of the fight like 2 weeks before the fight, so the fight gets canceled. Okay. That rubbed Al Haymon the wrong way. Al Haymon at that point decided to blackball Demetrius Andrade. Al Haymon already was having issues with Jay-Z. A lot of people don't know that, but so when Demetrius Andrade like pulled out because of his reason with Roc Nation, that really like pissed Al Haymon off. And Al Haymon just does not do business with Demetrius Andrade. That's why I don't think Demetrius Andrade his career will ever be able to take off. I mean, it hasn't taken off at this point. So that's just a little history of why. Now it's no excuse at all. I definitely feel like these two should be fighting each other. It's no excuse. I'm not making an excuse for Jermall. I'm not making an excuse for Demetrius. These guys need to fight each other, regardless of what how Al Haymon feels about Andrade, bro. Make these fights. Jermall is due for a big time fight. All right. You know who else is at middleweight? You do it. Oh well, it's limited now. It's like not like it was like 3-4 years ago where everybody, Jacobs, Billy Joe Saunders, you know, all of them were in middleweight. And see, a lot of, speaking of that, which I remember, a lot of people were criticizing Jermall for not signing a deal with DAZN. And at the time, this was like 2018. At the time, DAZN, the middleweight division was stacked. They had Canelo Alvarez, Danny Jacobs, Jermall Charlo, Demetrius Andrade, Billy Joe Saunders, Jaime Munguia. They had all these guys fighting at 160, right? And everybody was criticizing Jermall for not signing with DAZN, right? But check this out. Here's the problem with that. How many of them big fights were made at 160? The only fights that was made at 160 with all those big names on DAZN was Canelo Alvarez versus Danny Jacobs. Okay? We didn't get any of those big fights at 160. Now, I know y'all are going to say, well, Canelo fought Billy Joe. That was at 168, and that was last year. Talking about at that time, DAZN could not get any of those big fights. So DAZN could not even get Demetrius Andrade versus Triple G. They could not secure that man a fight. Okay? So, you know, I mean, this is just the politics and boxing that we in, bro, and I hate it, bro. I can't stand it. Another thing, man, a lot of guys are saying, well, you know, move up and fight David Benavidez. Now, I personally, I'm one for it. However, I definitely feel like, man, when you call a guy out, you should go see him. However, some of you same guys was saying that Jermall Charlo should move up to fight David Benavidez were the same people that was saying, why does Triple G have to move up to fight Andre Ward? You remember that? Now, if you guys keep it consistent, if you're saying that Triple G should move up to 168 and at that time and fight the Andre Wards and the Carl Froch and stuff, then I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that because I feel like Jermall Charlo, because my issue is, I remember when Triple G was calling out all them guys at 168, and except for Andre Ward. Andre Ward came and said, come fight me. He didn't want to move up to fight Andre Ward. And I was on Triple G neck, like, bro, you sit here saying all these guys are ducking you. Dre wants to fight you, move up and fight Dre. He ducked the hell out of Andre Ward. Triple G did. Ducked the hell out of Andre Ward. I criticized Triple G for that. Just like I'm saying with Dre. And Triple G, his own team stated he would knock out anybody from 154 to 168. And so you got people that want to fight you, but y'all was saying that he doesn't have to move up to fight. Some of y'all was saying that Triple G shouldn't have to move up to fight a guy at 168 when he's at 160, right? But then turn around and say that Jermall Charlo has to move up to fight David Benavidez. Now, again, I think Jermall Charlo should move up and fight David Benavidez. You've been calling him out. If you're gonna talk stuff about him, move up and fight him. If not, then stop talking about him. You know, I definitely feel like Jermall should move up and fight David Benavidez, because he called him out. But you know, this is just the thing, man. Jermall, I don't know what they're gonna do, man, but they're gonna have to get, man. I wish this fight was canceled, not postponed, because now we have to wait even longer to see Jermall Charlo in a bigger fight. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, man. What do you think about Jermall Charlo Who would you like to see him fight next? But what do I know?